I'm sure when you first took yoga, that you had an awakening around a aspect of yourself that you hadn't noticed before. And once you got that aspect of yourself, there's kind of no turning back. And so the same thing is true when you awaken your 10 bodies. So I'm going to tell you about them while you're just sitting here and just absorb. And then we're actually going to do a yoga kriya, a series of action poses that awakens those aspects of the 10 bodies. And we'll do a nice shavasana, and then we'll do chanting, which also stimulates your chakras and awakens the bodies. So the first body is called the soul body. And a little teaser, not all the bodies are physical. Actually, really, a lot of the bodies are esoteric, but they still exist. So the first body is the soul body, and I call this the body of your yearning. It's what you yearn to be, who you yearn to be, and how you yearn to be. And everyone here, I know, yearns to be happy. They yearn to help other people. They yearn for a peaceful world. And so in Kundalini Yoga, that's called your soul. And so the soul body is the first body, and it's the body of your yearning, your desire for happiness and to relieve the suffering, really, of the world. And so that's the first body. The second, third, and fourth bodies are all mental states of mind. Now, your mental state of mind isn't only how your brain works. You have a walnut in your head, and the walnut is really important. Frontal lobes, synapses, a really important piece of equipment. But if you were to open up yourself, you wouldn't find a mind. Your mind is a sense, right, of right and wrong. And so the mind, Kundalini Yoga, as a body, is delineated into three: a positive mind, a negative mind, and a neutral mind. And so you have all of those three minds. I like to think about it after so many decades of Kundalini Yoga. I've been practicing since 1987, and I met Yogi Bhajan then. I used to think I was out of my mind. But when I actually began to be into my mind, he would say to me, you have to bow your head into your heart. And so I think of my mind space actually as living in my heart. But of course it doesn't exist anywhere. It just exists as an idea. But the mind that's positive is the go up and, get a mind, right? Like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to open up this yoga studio and farm. This is all positive mind. This is Kirsten saying, I'm doing it. And that's positive mind. Negative mind is, oh my God, I have to pay the rent and the bill is due, and should I do this, and how about that, and oh my gosh, how about my husband or my family, and how about this, and oh my gosh, I have to think about that, and which way should I? That's the negative mind, also called the discerning mind, a very important mind. The neutral mind is the one that's the middle path and says, okay, I've weighed what's good, I've weighed what's bad, now I'm going to make my choice. So that's the neutral mind. So these first four minds are all outside of the body. The fifth body is this form that you get born into and that you leave. And so this form is very, very important, and you have a relationship with it. And so this is the fifth body of the form: the musculoskeletal system, the parasympathetic nervous system, the brain, the functions, the cellular system. That's the fifth body. The sixth body, if you all put your hands right from the nipple to nipple, right here, this is what I call the talk to the hand body. It's your arc line. And somebody was mentioning Catholicism is also above your head. You know how the angels and the angelic beings have that arc. So this is your arc line. And the arc line, you can sort of almost feel it if you tune into it, is around your warm, compassionate heart. And so you can bring your hands down. I like to think of the arc line as the angelic realm. It's the line that is compassion and saintliness and holiness, because we are all saints that have the potential to be saints, and we all have the potential for full compassionate living. And when you stimulate your sixth body, your arc line, it helps to ensure that you have a very positive relationship to the world, a saintly relation, to remember that you are, you're born of beauty and grace. The seventh is the electromagnetic, so if anyone's a scientist here, the electromagnetic energy I like to think about when we go to the Children's Museum with my son, is it's the electromagnetic, and it's a field that is measurable, and that field, it surrounds your body, and at the Children's Museum in Tennessee, if you would comb your hair, they put some sort of a science wand, then your hair would go all the way out to the wand, but it's because you have electromagnetic energy all around you, and it is palpable and measurable. That's a body. That's called your electromagnetic field that surrounds you. So the last three, so the seventh is the electromagnetic field, and the 8, 9, and 10 are all esoteric. But they, again, in yogic terminology, they all exist. So the 8th body is the pranic body. So 7 is electromagnetic. 8 is prana, right? So you understand that as yogis. So the pranic body is your life force. The 9th body, one of my favorites, is the subtle body. And the subtle body is sometimes called the supra body. It's the body that is the size of a grain of sand. It's the body that invisibilizes and exists on the top of a pin. I hardly ever share this, but when I was younger, I was raised a Catholic, very devoted to Mother Mary, Jesus, very, very devout Catholic. And I would lay in bed, and what I didn't realize then that I know now is that I would experience my supernatural body. I would experience and I would lay in bed and I would wait for it. And what I would call is the universe would go, and I would just be this tiny, infinitesimal, and that was my subtle body. I was actually experiencing my subtle body. I didn't understand what it was. I used to think, this must be like heaven. This must be what it's like in heaven. So it was this very spiritual, and I didn't tell any. You're probably the first people I've ever actually told. It was super, super secret. And I realized as I was reading Swami Muktananda that, I was experiencing my subtle body. And then the 10th body, it turns it all on. The 10th body is the radiance. It's like this string of light, the radiant body. And so just the string of light's at the top of the room. So when you have all of those bodies together, you have your yearning, you have your positive, negative, neutral mind, you have your physical body, you have the mind of your intuition. I didn't say that, right? 6th body is the mind of your intuition. 7th, your electromagnetic field. 8th, your prana. 9th, your invisibility or your subtlety. When you have your 10th body engaged, you're just radiant. Everything is turned on. And you've experienced that if you've taken yoga, because actually after a yoga class, oftentimes, don't you feel like you're floating, or you'll have this moment where, right, you have that So those are all your 10 bodies. And so today, we're going to awaken them. And Kundalini Yoga, as taught by Yogi Bhajan, is a very specific, scientific, and masterful way for you to experience that through postures and breath. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now.